Augustine, I was in the pop and mainstream music industry, where I organized concerts with thousands of people cheering for the band. And managing the artist with millions of followers, and carry out the press conferences that hundreds of media rushing to cover you. Yes, I was in the entertainment industry where we create popularity. However, I was also a girl who loves cultural and creative stuffs. I would walk into the gallery looking at the stunning art hanging on the wall and holding a little handmade painted postcard and said, how I wish I could have more of this myself. However, some of the young artists are often lonely in the gallery with only a small group of people coming to visit or even have no chance to show up. What it meant was they have no support, no attractions, no suspect. But does it mean that they give no value? Most people think that art is away from our life. Art's only when people who had a spare of time or money, they would talk about art. However, art is life. Art makes our life better. Standing in the middle of these both two extreme ends, I couldn't help but wonder, for those two equally talented and hard-working creative folks, what's the critical differences that made their destiny completely apart? And what's the same value they can share together? So I embarked on a mission to answer these questions. What's the real value that we can create as a creative person or an artist? Fortunately, I have a chance to practice my thought. I forgot when was I falling in love with such a charming space. It must be at the first sight, when I saw the beautiful warehouse constructed by wooden rows and this elegant Baroque architectures. It used to be a tobacco factory built in 1937, and it was the largest one in scale and capacity in East Asia. The factory was built for its industrialized productions for cigarettes. And there were maximum 2,000 employees in this village. But due to the decline of cigarette productions, the factory moved out and in the late 90s and left nothing at all. I started with this project in 2011 when this place is ready for its new life. What can I do for this space? What should I do? I keep asking myself, this could be more than an Insta-worthy but soulless space. What kind of artistic and creative content that I can create? This place has a degree of significance, so it has to rise up to the envisioned level. It was a gift from our past generations. We can learn from that. We can cherish that. And we can honor who we are by embracing that. But deeply down inside, I was also thinking about the struggling young creator with postcard holding his hand, but since nobody cared, could I bring any changes for them? Could I create the value of art through this significant space? So I raised on the idea called the People's Gallery. The People's Gallery means that we select the topic from local perspective and transformed into an artistic content. This was Budai Town in Jiayi County, a very small town with simple populations. The majority people here are doing farming and fishing for living. One day, something appeared in the middle of the town. It was a church, but shaped with a high hill. you might think it's some kind of Disneyland or something. So most of people think it's not related to it. So this made the locals started to consider, so what is actually related to us? Can we create something actually owned by ourselves? So the local community came in and decided to take the bride photos for the local people. This was the fisherman with her beautiful wife. They got married for 40 years, and this was her first time wearing the white gown. And this was the guy who produced soy sauce. He used to be a rocker, played in the lighthouse. And her wife was a city girl who had never been to the countryside. They got married for 30 years. So the crew took photos everywhere in the town. And these photos tell the story about their daily life and how they treat their job seriously. So we selected this photo and developed into exhibitions in our galleries. This is the best example of how local content can inspire conversations. This exhibition was very successful. It attracted about 50,000 people in a very short time. And we received a lot of media coverage. And after that, many people decided to visit Budai towns and trying to looking for the main character from these photos. They become the superstar. Another story is in Jiali counties, located in the west coast of Taiwan. And traditionally, the peoples here are producing sea salt for living. And a group of housewives from Jiali counties, all of their family produce sea salt from generation to generations. So all of their childhood memory revolves around the salt making. And this is the paper cartings, a very traditional craft art. And normally the color is red, and with the meaning of a celebration. So the artist Wu Gengzhen organized this group of housewives and transformed their childhood memory into a paper carting art content. He especially used the white color to symbolize the color of sea salt. And this is a Vigo Island. We invited Wu Gengzhen to join the biggest event, Original Festival. By cooperating with this local community's housewife, they built up this astonishing art. And this is where the traditional meets contemporary. His artwork attracts more than 150,000 people only within 10 days. So this is fascinating that both of two prove that when the art done right, it can wrap a town, connect to the community, and create the content that reach the level of a national quality. So what can we learn from that? As a curator, while working on these big questions, what's the real value that art are creating? So I found it is essential to look at these three dimensions. The first, the art can begin from local perspective. Do you believe in folk prescription? My grandma's always told me that when a fishbone stuck in your throat, then what will you do? Anyone else? She said, drink vinegar. Is that correct? Of course not. So the exhibition of Fox prescription calendars was a collection of those folk stories that are told by generations. And 3 graduate students from the universities designed this book, and they studied these prescriptions, and they testified its truth or not. So we invited them to develop these exhibitions, and we decorated the whole space like a clinic. So it was funny and interesting and interactive. you can play as a doctor. So it's a kind of art. Yes, it creates value. Second, we need to inspire creativity and encourage our artists to make experiments. We actually create a lab in the factories. So what can we do in lab? It's a theater, it's a black box, and it's a playground for all creative people. We often ask the artist, what would you like to try? A new way. It's a new way to perform, a new theory, or a new approach to watch the show, just like this, lie down on the ground. So we raised some projects not only involved the artist, but also the public. Like this behind the door is an exhibition of experimental art. It took about 30 days and started with an artist doing the computer graphic design for the stage. And then more artists came in to complete the whole artwork and the performance. So the people can participate in the production of all artwork, and you will feel like you are part of these exhibitions. The third, we can remove the label from the arts. Filmworms is our last year's original festival's topic. We will not only talk about the change of the temperature, but also talk about the emotional feeling of interpersonal relations. We invite 3 groups of flora artists to visit the growing farms of wheat, soybean, and cocoa. And then we ask them to participate in the production of crab beer, soy sauce, and chocolate. So what's the topic? We ask them to interpret a physical phenomenon, the process of fermentations, yes. So surprisingly, these artists were so deeply touched by the production of these farm crabs and the feedback in their artwork. Let's see that. The left one is sauce formation inspired by soy sauce. The middle one is the passage. Recall the process from cocoa to chocolate. The right one is the brewing. Yes, it's crab beer. So when the crab beer maker visited these exhibitions, he cried and said he never imagined this could be art. So a very local content can also be high art showcased in a gallery. This was very successful. People feel a source of a local energy. So it doesn't need to be abstract high art. There is so much value that a creative person can provide to the world. From a small piece of artwork, a story, a childhood memory, to a national level art exhibitions. So how can we as a teacher, a parent, a space owner, or the whole society can create any environment in which everyone can be inspired by the beauty of their artwork? Let's see the value of land and honor what we are co-creating with land. Art is not far away. Art is life.